no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey, I'm fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
So this is going to be a rather quick video looking at my top 5 most disappointing figures of 2016. This is just based on figures that I actually purchased that I thought were going to be pretty good figures, or I was really hyped to get, and then come to find out they were caca. It's possible I might not have pictures of some of these figures, and I might have to go with a stock photo because maybe I hated the figure so much that I didn't even bother trying to do any A.C.B.A. with that particular figure. Or possibly I may show a picture of the figure that I took and make the figure look really good, even though I thought the figure was pretty shitty. So let's get right into it. Alright, coming in at number 5 was the Figma Avengers Hulk. First of all, it took this figure like 10 years to come out. I don't know what took Figma so long to put this figure out. And I don't think that this figure was the worst looking figure. I think as far as the size and the look, the paint applications, the girth of the figure, how it compares to other figures, or how it stacks up next to other figures from any line, from Figma, from Figuarts, I think it did pretty well in terms of those criteria. It was just the fact that for one, it took so long to come out. 2, the articulation is a little funny style, and the thing falls apart. Like it comes apart at the knee and at the arm, and you know, as you're trying to pose it, it's like it's almost like a Build-A-Figure or something, but it's an import figure. It was a really expensive figure, and for the amount of money that you paid for that figure, if you purchased it, I think it was just really disappointing. But it's at the top of my list. It's number 5 because, you know, there's still things I do like about it, and it looks pretty good, and pictures or what have you. It's just that it didn't move the way I would have liked it to. It didn't really, the mechanics of it were really wonky. So number 5, Figma Hulk. Coming in at number 4 was the S.H. Figuarts Captain America Civil War Captain America figure. And the previous release from Figuarts for Captain America really knocked my socks off. I was like in love with that figure. I'm pretty sure it made my top 10 in the year that was released. But this one, I don't think they did anything that was much better in my opinion. They gave us the unmasked head, but the head didn't look good. Neither head looked good. You know, they were implementing this new face scanning technology, and I just don't think it translated too well on this figure. And I think the unmasked head looked really stupid. And also, I hate that they keep putting this kind of golden highlights on all of their figures. It just makes them look really stupid. And it's not like blonde; it's literally gold. And something was just off about the masked head on that figure too. The nose looked really like bulbous. I don't even know. It looked weird. I just didn't really like this figure. It was really disappointing. I thought it was gonna be a hit like the previous one, and it just was not. Coming in at number 3 was the Marvel Legends Captain America Civil War Black Panther figure. And I know that's probably going to be a surprise to some people. Some people had this figure in their top 10 figures of 2016. But to me, the figure was trash, man. It just wasn't that great. It was really awkward with the way the arms didn't go down to the side. It was awkward with how the back looked when you used the ab crunch. You know, the fact that you just couldn't get them into a vanilla pose, and that you couldn't really pose them as dynamically as I would have liked, it was a disappointment for me. The one thing that was, or the couple things that was good, was that it had the unmasked head, and it did have pretty nice detailing on the suit. You know, they did actually have pretty good paint applications, but the figure was just disappointing to me overall. And you know, and once I got the Figuarts version, then it was a wrap. I mean, I pretty much only bought that figure just so I could build the Giant Man, and even that wasn't the greatest figure, but Black Panther was a huge disappointment to me. Coming in at number 2 was the Batman versus Superman movie Mafex Superman figure, and this figure was just awful all the way around. It was just trash. The unmasked head didn't look great. One of the heads had yellow eyes instead of red. I ended up having to paint the eyes, or my girl painted it actually. The cape, the lining in the cape, the wiring in the cape wasn't as functional as it could be. My girl ended up actually putting more wiring through the cape so it'll work a little bit better. The proportions of the figure just looked really weird. It was a huge disappointment, and it just did not stack up well with the Batman figure. And the Batman figure ended up being one of my top 10 figures overall in 2016. So really, really disappointing with Superman. I thought that was gonna. I didn't even really like the movie too much, so I was still holding out hope for the figures that they would actually be cool, and I'd have some fun with them. But you can see from that shot, I mean, I guess I did have a little fun taking some pictures, but for the most part, it was a huge disappointment. And my number one most disappointing figure in 2016 was the Mafex Batman vs. Superman movie Wonder Woman. I think a lot of people were really, really disappointed with this figure. The early images of the face looked wonderful, and then when you got it in hand, she looked hideous. And even the mechanics of the figure and how it moved was just terrible, man. When you try to get her in dynamic poses, it looked really, really awkward. They just did not do a good job. A couple of things I did like was the lasso, the different versions of the lasso you got. You got a couple of different accessories, but I thought the shield was really flimsy. I reviewed that figure and I talked about it. Really, really disappointing, and I'll probably never open that figure again. My girl actually tried to paint it up a little bit, but she ruined it even more though, honestly. Like maybe I'll show a picture of it, I don't know. But the figure was terrible, man. Terrible. Hated that figure. So that was the number one most disappointing figure in 2016 for me. I'm upset that I spent money on that figure. Out of those five though, the one that I would probably really hold on to still would probably be the Figma Hulk, and I guess that's why I was the top of the list. So yeah, all right, man. Until next time, peace.